Hey everybody, it's Sunday night in Virginia Beach and it's Tom Antion live. Hey boy, we got a great show lined up for you today, and says my connection is weak. I don't know, it looks good to me. On the good internet connection here. Your connection is weak, it says. Still says my connection is weak. How could that be? I got my internet right here. It's cranking really good. I rebooted. Well, people are coming on, so I guess you can hear me. So yeah, it says my connection is weak. Well, I'm like this far, 3 feet from my my wireless thing. So, hey Brett, how are you? Yes, we can. All right. Hey Alan, how are you, bud? Well, we're doing good today. We got a tremendous fake sponsor today. This is a major company, very close to just about everybody out there, and it is, hey Marilee, it is Glide Dental Floss is our fake sponsor tonight. And I got some interesting information about dental floss for you today. But this is Oral-B Glide Pro Health Comfort Plus Floss in mint flavor. And I've tried various dental flosses over the years, and this is my favorite. I buy it at Sam's Club, buy the big case of it. But here's the interesting thing about dental floss. There was a case about a year ago where an inmate in prison filed a lawsuit against the state for cruel and unusual punishment, right? Because they wouldn't allow dental floss. Let's see, Alan says, hey Tom, doing well. The chin jab was lead story. Just sent out Sunday safety newsletter. Great. Hey, Vanessa, how are you? So anyway, apparently this stuff will cut through the bars at the jail. And so dental floss was banned. Now, I don't know what happened to that suit or if that's in every state or whatever, but I guess you can do some damage with this dental floss. I've never thought of it much as a weapon, but yeah, I guess, I mean, you could, pull it around somebody's face and it would certainly disconcert them. I don't think you could use it as a garrote. It'd probably break, but certainly I'm proud to have Dental Floss as my fake sponsor, who is probably never ever going to sponsor me. Oh boy, well, we got a lot of good stuff tonight. Let's see, in the news, I got a really highly philosophical question for everybody. What do you think the best use for fox urine and a tricycle is? Just think about that, and if you have any guesses, throw it in there, and I'll talk about that in the news section. In the scam section, would you like to hear from a perky girl? I would say no, but I'll tell you why in the scam section. In the brutal self-defense, what you eat and drink matters. And in the internet section, give it to them when they want it, okay? Don't give it to them anytime you want it. Give it to them when they want it. In the speaking tip, let's do win, win, and win. And we're going to get so tired of winning. And in the a-hole of the week, we got a bunch of real jack-offs. And in the hero of the week, we got a young non-snowflake and some monkeys. All right. All right. So let's get to announcements here. All right. The weight announcement. Yay. Vanessa says, putting down scent for a fox hunt, rolling in it cross country for the hounds to follow. Well, that's probably a good, that's not what I have in mind. But what about the tricycle? Are you going to use a tricycle instead of a horse? They do those kind of things in Virginia here on the, up near DC. They go on those fox hunts. All right, the weight loss announcement. We started out at 44, then 45, then 49, then 50, then 51, then 52, then 54, then 54, then 58, then 58. Last week, 60. And this week, I hit 63 one day. But out of fairness, it's 62. So 62 down since I started this this low carb thing. So still no trouble whatsoever. Just beautifully cranking along at I guess average about 1.5 pounds a week. Hey, Mary Lee, thanks. Woohoo! Whoop whoop! Yay! Pretty soon you're gonna have to raise your screen to see me, right? Well, it'll be a while. Got a long way to go yet. All right, the new viral marketing book is out, and I put it out on a flash sale, and I'm going to leave it open till tonight in case none of you heard of it. But it's greatinternetmarketing.com/viral. greatinternetmarketing.com/viral. It's the 3 techniques that we use around here to send our stuff viral. Now, when I say viral, it doesn't mean I had 48 million views on something. You don't have to have that many to go viral and to really make progress in your business with people sharing your stuff all around. And the next thing I'm rolling out is a subscriber contest pretty soon. But the book covers quizzes, contests, and content lockers. And it's about 80 pages, 65 or so heavy content, and pictures and samples, and how you can do this, and the kinds of software we use, and recommendations, and all that stuff. So greatinternetmarketing.com/viral. It's only $17, and crazy, my stuff is very inexpensive. All right, there we go. So let's go to the mailbag. Courtney wants to know, how does one learn to ad lib? All right, well, a lot of people say you can't really learn to be funny. Well, that may be true, that you're not inherently funny, but you can improve your use of humor. So when we do ad libs, there's a whole section in the Wake 'em Up book on pre-planned ad libs. So you can't cover every situation, but you can be ready when certain things happen when you're speaking, so that it looks like it is spontaneous. And like I said, there's a whole section in the Wake 'em Up book. But let's say your projector bulb burns out. You might say, oh, it's the first time I've ever been brighter than my projector. All right. Now, that's not a knee-slappingly funny line, but when it's said at the right time, appearing to be spontaneous, everybody's happy. They laugh, and they see that you can't be shaken if something goes wrong on stage, so they're calmed down. So it's best to work them out ahead of time, and there's books on ad libs, but I got a really big section for speakers in the Wake 'em Up book. Candace wants to know, what software do you need to hook up 2 monitors? Well, Candace, you don't really need, if you have a Mac or a PC that's inherent in your computer already. In a PC, you go to Control Panel and then Display. I don't know in a Mac, but certainly there's probably a million tutorials on it on YouTube, but you don't need to get any other software just to hook up 2 monitors. And then we had a related question. Mike says, how do I view my computer on my big screen TV? Well, the easiest way that's for sure going to give you full quality is an HDMI cable from your computer to your big screen. a hardwired cable. Now, if you get an HDMI cable, a long one, you better get it off eBay, because little short ones, they charge $24 down at Best Buy. I don't know why. So you better get it off of eBay. But you're going to be, you will be tripping over it. And if that's not a factor, if you can run it under a rug or something, that's great. But that's the easiest and give you the highest quality, least hassle. You just plug it in. Put the input on your TV to that HDMI thing, and boom, you're on. Now, there's other ways that I don't pretend to know how to do, but there's a thing called Chromecast. There's a Roku, ROKU, and Apple TV. All of those will do it, but you just have to get a tutorial online to do it. But the HDMI cable is an absolute slam dunk, boom, plug it in, you're going. All right, let's get to the news. We got some, let's see, Brett says get a dongle, an HDMI to VGA or vice versa. Yeah, if most modern computers have HDMI, and, your TVs for the past 5 or 6 years have had HDMI. But if you don't, then you could switch to, get an adapter to VGA or VGA to HDMI, so forth. Okay, well, there's some things here that are a little tragic. I usually do a lot of lighthearted stuff, but there's some things I want people to think about. There's a guy in Florida that was burning some books, and I've always said, I don't know, for 100 years, books are your friends, so don't burn your books. But he ended up burning up like 700 acres and destroyed 2 homes. And the guy was really remorseful, but he's going to be responsible financially. It's going to ruin his whole, financial life probably. I don't know if his insurance will help him out on that or not, but I don't think they allow burning. So the insurance company is going to say, well, hey, you were violating the law. We're not going to pay, which is probably right. Then another really thing, this one kind of reminds me of my mother, and I never liked my mother. Anything, not much about at all my mother I like. But the one thing that she did was she watched me like a hawk. From the time I could walk, I was never out of her sight, and or my dad's sight. They were watching me like crazy, and I don't know, parents don't seem to be like that nowadays. I also remember I was at an event, and one of the other speakers popped in with her husband and her little toddler. I don't know what it is, a toddler, little kid. Wasn't a toddler. It must have been one step above. I don't know what. I don't know kid terminology, but it was big enough to reach up on a banquet table and start to grab the great big coffee urn. Now, the diva was just flitting around. The husband was clueless. This kid's just running around. All right, this would have never happened with my parents. They were watching me every second. I wasn't 3 feet away from them. And I kind of got that in me now when I'm around little kids, so I'm not a parent. I don't have kids, but I'm totally nuts safety conscious around kids if I'm ever around kids. So this kid is running, is going to pull, running over to the banquet table, going to pull this 5-gallon scalding hot urn on his head. I run over and grab him and get him and deliver him back to his mother, who again was clueless, and the kid's running around again. All right, but the reason I bring all this up is because a grandma was at the thrift store with a 4-year-old boy, her grandson. He accidentally hung himself in the dressing room. She's shopping, not paying attention. He runs into the dressing room, somehow climbs up on the bench and gets his hoodie stuck on the hook that you hang clothes on. And he hung there and his feet couldn't reach, and he died right there in freaking thrift store. So want to remind everybody with kids and grandchildren and all this to keep your eye on them. And who am I to tell parents anything? All right, nobody. But I sit back and I watch this stuff, and Jesus, a little 4-year-old boy hung himself. I mean, geez. Okay, so let's get into some more lighthearted. Well, I don't know if this is lighthearted. In India, the police arrested 8 people in a human bone smuggling ring. Now, first of all, I'm not sure who would buy the bones. I don't know. And I'm not exactly sure where they got the bones. And that worries me more than who would buy the bones. All right, because you can always probably find some nutcase collector that's a weirdo. But I don't know where they got the bones. I don't think I want to know. However, a lot of people have gone missing in India. All right, so. All right, now we'll get to the fox urine and the tricycle. So, a bunch of smugglers, drug smugglers, had a storage unit that was under surveillance because they were getting ready to catch these guys. And my screen went dim. And so they're watching them. They take a big couch in a truck and leave with it. And then they come back and put the couch back in the storage unit. All right? And they were doing this all the time. Apparently, they hollowed out the couch, and the drugs were in the couch, and they delivered the drugs, and then they filled the couch up with money and back in there. But that was their major mistake, how they got caught, because they were actually they would put tricycles in the truck and other things to make it look like they were moving. And also, when they got busted, they found fox urine that's supposed to mask the smell of the drugs. Well, again, I don't know where they got the fox urine either. Can you imagine these drug smugglers out in the field trying to milk a fox or something? I don't know where you would get that. But now, this was in the major blooper section. Oh, and if you wouldn't mind, folks, hit your share button there, kick it around a little bit. And also, I want to try something new today. On the bottom left of your screen is a little person-looking thing with a plus sign there. Can everybody see that? Put it in your comments there if you have that down at the bottom left of your screen. It's a little person icon with a plus sign. Well, if you hit that, you don't have it? Maybe it's only on mobile. I wonder. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it's Mary Lee. Are you on a desktop or mobile? Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. On the lower left, it's a little person with a plus sign. Wonder why you're not seeing it. Vanessa's not seeing it either. Huh. Yeah, because it's... Thanks, Donna. Wow, that's crazy, because I was just reading an article on how this is how you invite people, where if you hit that button, wherever it might be, I guess, you know, maybe they're just rolling this out just now. It was a fairly recent article. Then a list of people comes up where you can just hit invite, 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 and they get a little desktop notifier that you invited them. Huh. Okay, well, I guess that's not in full swing yet. Thanks, Donna. Okay, so anyway, this blooper, this is the blooper section. This South African footballer, you know, soccer player, his name is Mohammed Anyas, was doing a live interview Talk about sticking your foot in your mouth. Hey, Charlotte. Oh, so Alan says if he hits his share button, the option to invite people or share. So you're saying after you hit the share button, Alan, then you get the little person with the plus sign? Mary Lee says, I just tried phone and no person icon with plus sign, but it does have a share button. Hit the share button, Mary Lee, and see if then you can invite people. Hey, Charlotte. Okay, so I guess you got to hit the share button. I wonder if I can invite people. I'm going to wait till the end of the show so I don't mess up and kick everybody off, but I'll see if I can invite people too, or maybe I'll do a test tomorrow. So anyway, they're doing a live interview, and Muhammad they just won the game, and he's all happy. So he says, I'd like to thank my wife and my girlfriend. And then he's like, I think, I mean, yeah, most of you don't know, I call my daughter my girlfriend. So it's kind of ironic. A soccer player puts his foot in his mouth. Okay, so Mary Lee says, yes, after hitting the share button, it does have a pop-up to invite friends. Yeah. Hey, Joyce, how are you? So then he starts thinking, oh no, I better tell my wife how much I love her, and so he just starts ranting about how he loves his wife, and he thanked his wife and his girlfriend. Let's see. Now I got another fire related thing here. It's a little bit different. New York City has begun licensing professional fire eaters. I mean, with all the things going on in the world, right? And New York City being a target for terrorists, you would think we'd have something more important to do than to work on a licensing program for fire eaters. Apparently, the explosive unit, who should be working on terrorism, of the fire department is testing people for their competence at fire eating. I'm not sure how. Yeah, Brett says it's the hottest thing going, right? Not sure how you test their confidence. I guess if they eat fire and they don't have to go to the hospital, is that it? I have no idea. Now, here's another interesting how to get action section. And I'll read this. A major street light in a town in Essex, England, got hit by a truck. And everybody wanted it fixed. And they are bitching at the city council and trying to get it going, and nothing gets done. So this is really a smart, kind of cute thing that this city councilor did. His name was Dave Harris. He decided to throw a birthday party on the street at where the light was, and he got a cake and he invited all kinds of people, and they had a birthday party to celebrate the age of the broken streetlight. That is, and almost immediately the shamed county highway office fixed the light. That's smart, right? So instead of bitching and moaning and screaming, make some publicity. Joan Stewart, the publicity hound, would love that. So that's a good idea. All right, let's go to the scam bag. That's where we find the scumbags. All right, we got more of the yes calls coming. So, again, I want to remind everybody, do not say yes. In fact, you're better off not answering the phone at all from a number you don't recognize. Last week, I told you about the numbers where they ring once and then you call back and it's an international number and you're getting charge all kinds of money. But the latest one, there's a perky girl who says, hey, can you hear me? I'm having trouble with my phone, my headset. And if you say yes, boom, they got you. She'll just hang up. In fact, it's not a real person. These are robocalls. All right, they're just calling over and over and over with that fake, can you hear me? If you say yes, they record it, and then they splice that in with you agreeing to some kind of charges. All right, so do not say yes, but the bigger picture is don't answer anybody that calls that you don't recognize the number. And another thing is don't bother putting yourself on the do not call list. From everything that I've seen, it makes no damn difference, because these scammers that could care less about the do not call list, they open up under different names and, you know, and different numbers and different proxies of where they look like they're coming from. They're never going to get caught. So you're just wasting your time putting yourself on the do not call list. Just don't answer. And if it's your business line, you got to answer, but you got to train everybody to not. You know, I mean, it's hard to not say yes. If somebody, is this Antion Associates? Yes. No. What you say is, this Antion Associates. Who's calling, please? What are you calling about? You know, you have to kind of be a prick almost to do it. Brett says you can go on the phone carrier website and click the button for restrict private calls. Yeah, like I said, Brett, everything I've seen is people have done everything under the sun and nothing works that people get through, get the robocalls through. So anyway, be extremely careful with that. Another one that don't fall for is the robocall will say, press 1 to be removed from this list. You think, oh, thank God, a good company. You press 1, they sell your number to everybody because it proves a real person answered the line. See? So don't do any of that. Just hang up immediately if you do get sucked into answering, but don't answer in the first place. All right, let's go to self-defense tip. Just a little sidebar news item here, just to remind people. California is releasing 9,500, that's 9,500 inmates over the next 4 years. So apparently they have started a program which on its face is a good idea, I think, and it's kind of sweeping the nation in that the inmates get credit for taking life skills classes during their incarceration. All right, that is a good idea. I agree with that. However, you know, a lot of these criminals are total scammers, and they'll go through a course just to get the time off of their sentence so they can go out and rob you and kill you and you know, and rape and pillage again. So the reason I bring that up is because you better be ready as this trend spreads to other states, and it could be in your neighborhood. And you got to get in the habit of being aware. I mean, Alan preaches this, I preach this, but you got to lock your door, you got alarm systems, you need lighting, you need heavy-duty deadbolts, get a dog, run flat tires on your car and all that. So I just dread the thought of somebody that I know that's been on listening to me and laughing at these shows and all this, something bad happens to you because you didn't listen to this part. That I just hate the thought of that. Now, the other self-defense tip, I saw an article with the title, Hot Coffee Thwarts Utah Armed Robbery. And in my Brutal Self-Defense class, brutalselfdefense.com, I do a whole section on self-defense with food. All right? And it says, police in Utah are searching for a suspect accused of trying to rob a woman at gunpoint Friday morning. before she scared him off by hurling her hot coffee on him. Well, they should just go look for somebody that's got scalded, their faces scalded off. Officers, now I want you to also tell me what this woman did wrong. All right, she got herself out of it, but there's about 3 things, major things that she did wrong here. So officers said a man approached a woman who was in her car in a gym parking lot in Salt Lake City. Authorities said the suspect opened the woman's car door and pointed a gun at her. She threw her coffee on him. He ran to a tan SUV and drove off. All right. So tell me, put in the comments, what did she do wrong to get in that situation in the first place? Put it in your comments there. Authorities said the suspect opened the woman's car door and pointed a gun at her. She threw her coffee on him. He ran. She was sitting in her car in the gym parking lot. I can wait you out. What did she do wrong there? All right, I don't know if I'm locked up or what here. I don't see anything happening here. All right, well, I'll just tell you then. Well, first thing, she wasn't aware. The guy had a chance to walk clear up to her car, holding the gun, and she's sitting there probably on her cell phone. Brett got one of the things. Her door wasn't locked. How could you sit there with your door not locked? All right. Her car probably, now they didn't say this in the story, but her car probably was not running. Now, I don't care if you burn up a little extra gas. Quit being so cheapskates. But leave your car running. Yeah, that's right, Mark. Her car door was not locked. That's 1. But she didn't see the guy coming. That's 2. Her car wasn't running. If she was just coming to the gym, and she was going to sit there on her cell phone, leave your car running. If she was getting ready to leave, start your car and get ready to leave. All right, so that all she had to do was, well, there's one other thing, what we teach in brutal self-defense is called combat parking. I virtually never park where I just pull face in, where I have to back out to leave. I always look for a space where I can pull straight through and then I can pull out forward. So if something bad's happening, I'm not trying to back up carefully and not wreck everything around me and going backwards. I pull out forward. So if she combat parked, left her car running, was aware, all she had to do is put it in gear, drive away. That's all she had to do. The guy's not going to start shooting across the parking lot hoping that he hits her. No, he probably didn't want to shoot her in the first place. He just wanted to rob her. So, so there's the thing she did wrong. So don't do those things. But anyway, you can use food as not only a weapon. In this case, hot coffee is a weapon. However, I even showed him. I guess I got a lot of time on my hands. The current coffee cups, like at McDonald's. It used to be you could squeeze them and the top would shoot off and shoot coffee off for everybody. But now they're so rigid and the top fits so well, it won't work. All right, so just be ready to loosen the top and throw the whole thing on the person. But when you throw something at somebody, their natural reaction is to cover their face, cover their eyes. Well, that's your chance to get the hell out of there or attack them with whatever you got, okay? So I always thought, I ask a lot of people sitting in a restaurant, well, show me the weapons around you. And then one guy's got a plate of spaghetti, and he's looking for the salt shaker, which is a weapon, but they had these little baby ones, so that's not the greatest weapon. He's thinking, well, I got this glass here, this mug. Yeah. But the plate of spaghetti is a great weapon. Can you imagine some guy, well, I remember that guy coming into a restaurant with a machete. Throw a plate of spaghetti at him, and it's going to discombobulate him and get stuff all over him, maybe make his hands slippy, you know, whatever. So, so use food as a weapon. What are the things we do with food as a weapon? A hard roll, still, you throw it at people. Even a soft roll, when you throw it, it's going to distract them. Throw it towards their face. Brett wants to know if angel hair is better than spaghetti. Well, angel hair is probably better, because if you're in that bad of a fight, you might need an angel around you. I mean, I would take a handful of asparagus and use it as in a hammer fist, just to mess with, poke them in the eye. So anyway, that's your self-defense tip. Use food, be aware, combat parking, keep your engine running, and don't have your, as Alan says, your head up your apps, or what is it? Your head up your head in your apps, something like that. Okay, your internet tip. Broccoli would be better than asparagus. I don't know. Asparagus is strong and pointy. Broccoli is soft. I don't know. It might be better for them. I don't know which one's better. Okay, on your internet tip, let's talk about webinar replay scheduling. You may have seen an ad for one that I put out yesterday that said, Encore webinar, yeah, get your head out of your apps. Yeah, that's right, Alan Breed. And it said 3 convenient times this weekend. Well, if you have a good webinar replay service, I use the one through my affiliate link, Hybrid Webinars, in case you want to do this. When somebody lands on the registration page is set to show them the first that the webinar is coming up at the top of the next hour. So if you land at 11:15 a.m., it says, hey, the webinar is going to start at noon today. All right. If it's 11:45, it's still going to say noon. If it's 12:15, it's going to say it's going to start at 1. It's going to start at the top of the next hour, and this is because people are on there surfing, they're interested in your topic, and they say, oh, I can watch this right now. It's coming right up. Beautiful. But what if they can't? Well, on the registration page, I give them a morning option and an evening option. So I say 3 convenient times this weekend, and so they get 1 hour from when they registered. Now that's up until 9 o'clock at night and 9 in the morning, so that if they stop by at 4 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't say a webinar starting at 5. Then they think that was weird. So anyway, that's a really cool technique. Yeah, Mary Lee, well, just call me someday, Mary Lee. Yeah, these webinar replays are making me a fortune. That one thing was $300 a pop, and I think it was like $1,200 came in while I'm just, playing with the dogs this weekend. And but anyway, you want to give them options so that if people can't be available in the evening, you give them a morning option. Hey, Margie, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. If they can't do it in the morning, you give them an evening option. But the cool part is when people can do it within 1 hour of when they registered. So, and even if they registered at 11:50 a.m., it says, oh, it's starting in 10 minutes. Perfect timing. That's what they're thinking. I'm thinking, okay, they just fell into this thing that I set up. Okay. So anyway, that's webinar replay scheduling is let them give them some urgency with the first one, and then give them morning and evening options so that they can fit it in one way or the other. You want to avoid I mean, I have this available at Tom Antion webinars where you can watch anytime you want, but people like events. You won't get people watching as easily if they can watch anytime because they just never get around to it. All right, there's all kinds of psychology on webinar stuff. Anyway, that's your internet tip. All right, here's your speaking tip. The way I claim that I have taught more professional speakers than anybody living. And I dare anybody to dispute that fact. But the number one way I break in people to make money speaking is by doing fundraisers. I have a whole course on this. But it's an open field because everybody wants to raise funds. Every church on earth raises funds. Every civic club raises funds. Every archery club, martial arts club, whatever you can think of, club or association raises funds. So the idea of this is you pre-package a seminar, you present it to them and say, hey, let's do a fundraiser. We'll charge admission. I'll do a great seminar for the people. You promote it, and we'll split the money. And I've done this over 100 times personally in the past 24 years or something. And it's only a part of my business, but every one of them made money, good money for me, and made money for the group. Hey, Janet. Yeah, yes you have, Tom Antion. I used to pack up all those speaking packets for you. She was one of my assistants when I was back in Maryland, and now she's internet marketer and a professional organizer, and awesome. Hey, Janet. Hey, Janet, we're finally moving towards accreditation in the school, so there still might be work as an instructor, but it's going to be, the earliest is January of 2018. It's quite a process. But anyway, the fundraisers, everybody wins. When I say win, 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 you win and make money. The group wins and makes money. The audience wins and gets a great presentation, right? Mary Lee says, "Hey, Janet." Oh, I guess they knew each other. So the first ones are kind of hard to get because these groups are hard to convince that you could make them thousands of dollars in a couple hours, because a lot of these places are, used to doing a bake sale and spend 2 weeks to make $50. So it's hard for them to believe. But if you get 3 or 4 of them and get videos of the pastor saying that, you raised enough money to help build the new playground, and get it on a website somewhere, you'll be turning down people after a while. I mean, I had to start turning them down after a while because I couldn't fit them all in. So that's the number one way, and I have a complete course on this. It's only $97 at greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraisers. greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraisers, all small on fundraisers. Okay, so let's get to the a-hole of the week. I got a couple of them here. I'm going to just do a broad-based one here. The Democratic Party. What a bunch of fucking crybabies. Jesus. When are the people on the left going to ask their people in Washington, would you do something for us and not just bitch and moan and try to kill everything Trump's doing? Because if he lasts 4 years, we got nothing from you in 4 years other than you bitching and causing trouble. So, and what's hypocritical about it is they're fighting this Neil Gorsuch Supreme Court nomination. Well, and they're all pissed off. They're all butthurt over Merrick Garland not getting a hearing. Well, their own fucking Joe Biden refused, and I forget who it was with, but in somebody's last year of the presidency, refused them a Supreme Court nomination. The exact same thing. And these fuckers are you know, forget that. You know, they just, oh, like that never happened. Fuck you, you people. So, bunch of fucking assholes, you know. Pretty much all politicians are assholes. You know, I'm not sticking up for Republicans. They're all assholes. They'll all say anything to get what they want, or to get what they want from you, and to keep their job, their little pussy job. No, Brett, I'm holding back. So now, a very specific asshole of the week is Dr. Jackoff R. Smith. All right, Jack R. Smith. This is the piece of shit superintendent of schools in Montgomery County, Maryland. Piece of shit. This guy makes $275,000 a year. He gets tons of days off, a free car, but he's a walking piece of shit. This is the place where this 14-year-old girl allegedly got raped by two illegal immigrants, an 18-year-old in a 9th grade class with a 14-year-old girl. And before let's even talk about that, what fucking sense does this make? No wonder we're turning out moron after moron after moron in our schools. They say, well, we're obligated to give them an education. Great. All right. I don't want to argue that point, all right? But the point is, the freaking people can't speak English. So do you think if you put a person, an 18-year-old that can't speak English in a 9th grade class, do you think that 18-year-old from Guatemala is just going to rise up to the level of the 9th grade people trying to get an education? Fuck no. They're going to have to dumb everything down, so the 9th graders are going to be playing video games while this person can't understand a goddamn thing that's going on. Now, I don't blame that person if they can't speak English. I mean, it's bad that they, you know, that they're illegal, but it just doesn't make any fucking sense for this superintendent of schools to dump these older people into 9th grade and ruin the education for the 9th graders to satisfy these people. Put them in an English as a second language class. I mean, if you would just spend 4 months doing that, and then the rest of the year put them in regular classes, you'd be further ahead than dumping them in where they're totally lost, have no chance of understanding a damn thing, and they're ruining it for the other people. It's no wonder, like I said, we're turning out fucking morons. And this guy started getting hate mail because he's all left liberal, little piece of shit guy, and he's threatening to call the police on people that are giving him a hard time. And I'm like, call the police on me, motherfucker. Let's see how far it gets you. Let's see how far it gets you. I'm not threatening you physically. I'm just saying what a fucking highly educated moron you are. You're a fucking moron, and you're surrounded by fucking morons that put up with what you're doing in that city. And those kids don't know any better. They're just getting easy classes while they're telling the Spanish guy, oh, class is over. We didn't do shit today again. No. Fucking idiots. All right. Well, I do have some hope that there are some kids left in this world that are good. They don't happen to be on either coast. All right. So let's get into our hero. In Wisconsin, there's a high school student named Ian Brown. A friend of his, at lunch, this is actually on video, the security cameras, was choking. All the other little idiots just stood there and watched him. One kid jumped up, went around, did the Heimlich maneuver, and literally saved the kid's life. And that kid took the La Crosse, Wisconsin Police Explorers Program, where he had had training in first aid. So I am thrilled that this kid's parents supported that this kid did this, and I'm imploring all of you out there to do this, to get your kids first aid training and encourage these kinds of life skills. That's why, I don't know where the paper is now, I'm signing up for a wilderness survival first aid class in June. It's coming to Virginia. It goes around the country. It's going to be in Virginia Beach in June. And someday, it's too late tonight, I'll tell you my first aid story from when I was a kid. But this kid saved his buddy's life, and I'm all for it, and I want these kids to get some real life skills. Now, the next, I do have some animal heroes, and I don't have any names for them because the headline from the report was Hero Monkeys helped lost man survive for days in the Amazon rainforest. Hero monkeys. Check this out. A Chilean tourist survived for 9 days, and he was lost in the dense expanse of the Bolivian rainforest. A troop of monkeys dropped him fruit and led him to shelter and water every day. Now, I don't know if he was hallucinating or not, but the thing is, this guy's name was Meku Coroseo Acuna. He was 25 years old, and he went missing. He was on a tour, and here's what's interesting. He was on a tour of the Madidi National Park, a protected rainforest in the northwest part of Chile. And the night before he disappeared, he refused to take part in a traditional ceremony that gives thanks to the Mother Earth for allowing them to visit the forest. He refused. So this could be instant karma too. And the name of Mother Earth is Pachamama, or Pachamama. It's because he offended. Now this is cool though. The tour operator, probably to cover his own ass, he said it's because he offended the Pachamama, the owner of Max Adventures. He didn't want to participate in the ceremony. That's why he got lost. That's because his insurance company wasn't going to pay, I think, if he lost a customer. So anyway, these monkeys apparently dropped him fruit and took him to where there was water holes, and I don't know. Like I said, he could have been hallucinating or just wanted a good story, but pretty cool story. So there we go. That's our show tonight, and get your viral book, get your fundraising course, and go viral fundraising. That'd be cool. And as always, stay safe, stay home if you can, and make money while you're doing it. All right, catch you next week.